What's up, everybody? Today, I want to talk to you about the exact steps that you're going to have to take if you want to utilize the SBA as your financing in order to go buy a business. Now, there's a few steps involved here, but I promise you at the end of this video, you're going to have a much clearer picture of exactly what you're going to have to do to go get the SBA loan and utilize and leverage off of it to go get your first cash flowing business. I'm excited. Let's get into it. It's changing their regulations. Okay. And then I do want to. Now, before we deep dive these steps, I do want to just explain exactly what the SBA is. Guys, the SBA is a government-backed loan, kind of like the FHA loan is, and it's something where regular people like you and I are going to be able to go and utilize funds from the government in order to go buy an asset. In this case, we're talking about a business, whereas the FHA loan is obviously for a house, for real estate, right? They only require 10% down, so it makes it a very favorable and friendly loan. Now, check this video out so you can see how to eliminate that 10% down altogether. But that's not the point of this video, so let's move on. So first step, guys, in my opinion, is going to be to pre-qualify yourself. I don't think it makes sense for you to go out there and shop for a $10 million business when maybe right now you may not be eligible to go buy a $10 million business with the SBA. So in order to pre-qualify yourself, I have something called a pre-qualification formula. And with this quick and dirty method, it's not exact, you'll be able to kind of get a really rough idea of how much business you can go out there and even buy. What that pre-qualification formula is you're going to take liquidity. Liquidity technically is anything that is readily available. So cash works. 401k doesn't work. Money that you have in the stock market does work. Crypto works as well. Again, the whole idea of the liquidity is, can I have access to this money basically now? That's the definition of liquidity. That's what the SBA is going to be using to see how much business you can buy. Let's say you have $20,000 in Bitcoin and $50,000 in the savings account. So 20,000 plus 50,000, that's $70,000 that we have in liquidity right now. Then we're going to multiply that times 10. So 70 times 10, $700,000. Now take 700 grand and multiply it times 85%. And you're going to get $595,000 worth of business that you can go shop for right now. Again, guys, very quick and dirty method. There's a few other little things that we could maybe add or take away, but this will give you a very good ballpark of where you're at. You know, if you're at $595,000, maybe we're not going to go look for $3 to $5 million businesses right off the bat. Next, we're going to go look for some good reputable lenders, SBA lenders. A simple Google search will do for that. Some of the more popular ones are going to be like Live Oak, Huntington Bank. Of course, your bigger institutions are also going to have SBA lenders built in them. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, those guys as well. Once you've found your perfect lender, now it's time to give them a call, talk to them, let them know that you plan on buying a business. Now, I've noticed that some bankers prefer you to come with them with a deal in your hand already. Obviously, that's more ideal and convenient for them, but I appreciate a good SBA lender that would say, hey, listen, I understand this is your first acquisition. I understand that you're going to be out there kind of looking. So let me just kind of give you that pre-qualification that you're looking for, and you can go and shop for your business. Versus somebody that's like, I won't even talk to you unless you have a business signed LOI in your hand. That's one way I would determine who I would want to work with and who I wouldn't want to work with. Once you've talked to them, they'll probably ask you for a few things like a little informal personal financial statement. They just want to understand, you know, what the bank account looks like. What do you do for a living? Different things, right? Nothing too crazy. You know how in real estate, when you go to a bank and you kind of say, hey, I make this much, I spend this much, I do this. They're kind of taking you at your word. So what you get is like a pre-qualification letter where they're like, look, based on what he or she is telling us, they qualify. But it's not until way later in the process that they're actually going to be like, yeah, this is a good one to go. You're like fully approved. It's that same concept. So when the SBA lender provides you with this support letter, it's more about that pre-qualification. You're still in that early stage, but that letter is nice to have with you because when you go to a business owner, or let's say you're dealing with a business broker, it's something publicly for sale, that support letter holds some weight. You know, that tells them, again, just like a house, that tells them, hey, I've gone to the bank. I've provided some preliminary information. I'm taking this seriously. And here is a letter from the bank that says I'm pretty good. Okay. And I think that goes a long way with business brokers as well. And once you have that support letter, guess what? Now it's the fun part. Now you get to go shopping. Find that perfect business, go build rapport with the business owner. And trust me, guys, you have the skills to do it. You can watch this video where I deep dive with one of my students, how they bought an HVAC company and how they built rapport with the business owner, talking about fishing. The guy had a boat at the warehouse. Building rapport is not as hard as you think. Don't let it intimidate you in any way. Business owners are just like homeowners. If anything, they're more motivated than homeowners. Once you get that LOI, obviously you're going to have, these terms and that and whatever all else is in your LOI. You're going to go back to your lender, your SBA lender now, and you're going to provide them that LOI. A good lender will do a quick calc for you again with the terms that are on the LOI. And at that point, they'll come back to you and they say, hey, you're pretty close here. Or, listen, man, I don't know what you were smoking, but the terms that are on this LOI are not going to work for the SBA. Again, it's always good to have people in your corner, right? Now, if the lender comes back and they say, hey, this is a good one. I like what I'm seeing here preliminarily. Let's go ahead and move forward. I like it. So now you're going to have to provide the lender with a formal personal financial statement, a formal application. You're also going to have to provide your last 3 years of personal tax returns. You're going to have to provide the business's last 3 years of tax returns. And then you're also going to have to provide the business's year-to-date P&L. And you're also going to have to provide a balance sheet as well. Next, they're going to ask you to prepare a business plan for the business that you're buying. This is going to include, what do you plan on doing with current operations? What do you plan on doing with sales? How do you plan on growing the business? Do you have contingency plans in place? All these things have to be in a good business plan. This is something that I offer all the students, is a templated business plan where you can basically go in and fill in the numbers of your particular business. Here's a preview of what it looks like. It's very nice. I've had nothing but glowing compliments from lenders when submitting this business plan, and it makes you look very professional and knowledgeable that I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm talking about. I know you do, but we just want to make sure the lender knows that too. By the way, guys, if you've made it this far in the video, I know you're pretty serious about buying your first cash flowing business. I'm going to leave my contact information in the description below, but reach out to me, book a chat with me if you're ready to join the community and finally take that leap of faith for you, for your family, for your future generations, and buy your first cash flowing business. All right, back to the process. Once you submit all of that to the lender, now you're going to have to enter into financial due diligence and legal due diligence. You need a good M&A attorney, mergers and acquisitions attorney, somebody that specializes in these transactions. They will perform the legal due diligence part of all of this, and they will be the ones to prepare a bulk of the documentation that's going to be required to close this thing out. They kind of work hand in hand with the SBA. Some of the documents are coming from the SBA, but a lot of the documents are coming from the attorney. Altogether, those are the closing docs, right? It's kind of like with real estate. You have certain schedules and disclosures and documents that are coming from the title company, and then you have certain documents that are coming from the lender as well. Both of those together those are your closing docs. As far as financial due diligence, guys, this is where you're going to have to link up with somebody that is experienced in looking at the numbers, a really solid CPA, somebody that knows the scope in which you are going to be looking at these numbers. There is something called a quality of earnings report. Back in the day, this report used to be only for like multi-million dollar transactions. Nowadays, it's become relatively affordable. If you're not a financial wizard, you're going to be able to sleep easy at night knowing that you got a quality of earnings report done by a CPA firm that says this company that you're buying has the cash that it says that they have or makes the cash that it says that they make. It's almost like a mini audit. And I'm going to sleep better at night knowing that these numbers got looked at and they've gotten verified. But I'm telling you, especially if you're buying $1 million or more of a company, that's a lot of money to just shell out there and sign your name on. I own 2 CPA firms. We actually offer these products. If you have any questions or you want one done for an acquisition, feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave my contact below in the description. Once financial due diligence is over and once legal due diligence is over, usually towards the end, you're going to get what they call terms. You're going to get an email from your lender and it's going to say, we are going to offer you these terms. Now, the terms are going to be how many years and the interest rate. Now, the reason the years change, by default, the SBA is a 10-year loan. But if you have real estate, you can get all the way up to 25 years. A lot of times what you're going to end up with is something between 10 to 25 years if there's some real estate involved. But if there's no real estate involved at all, you're going to get the 10-year loan. The only other thing that's going to change is the interest rate. They're going to send you the term sheet and they're going to say, this is the amount of years on the loan. This is the interest rate on the loan, so on and so forth. You have to reply back and say, I agree to the terms. Underwriters are inevitably going to come back with some type of questions. You're going to be like, why are they asking these dumb questions? But that's just how underwriters are. They wouldn't be underwriters without asking those questions, right? Just like underwriters at a title company, they come back with some way out of left field stuff or just stuff that seems really irrelevant. You can tell that I've had my frustrations with underwriters before, but ultimately they're gonna send you a list of questions. Don't feel like it's the end of the world. At that point, it was just expected. And I always go back to real estate, but I view the underwriting questions kind of like if you're flipping a house, you're rehabbing a 1960s, 1970s house, and you just put all your blood, sweat, and tears, and you believe this thing is just perfect. You made it a 10 out of 10. And then the buyers get an inspector, and what does that inspector do to your house? They tear it apart. They write a book on that house, right? It's okay. It's just part of the process. Every inspector is going to write a book and just find all these little things. It's the same with the underwriters. They're going to always come back with a laundry list of questions. Don't panic. Jump right into answering them logically, reasonably, and respectfully, and you'll be just fine. Okay, here we are. Once you submit all your responses, it may take some back and forth and some tweaking and stuff like that. But once the underwriters come back and say, we're good, you are going to get what's called a commitment letter. And that is the one that really matters. That letter right there is the bank saying, we are lending you this money at this rate for this many years on that business. At that point, guys, let's put it on the schedule. Something that works for the bank, something that works for you, something that works for the seller. Sign everything off, close it, and fund it. Congratulations. You just bought your very first cash flowing business. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me to the end. I know this is not the most exciting and fun topic to discuss, but I really feel like the SBA just seems like it's such a mystery to a lot of people. I hope that this kind of clears up a lot of that mistiness and cloudiness and unknown for you. And now you can go in and look for your business with a lot more level head and with a really good plan in place for what you're going to do. Thank you guys for watching. Do me a favor. If you liked the video and you got some value out of it, share it with somebody. I'm sure there's somebody else out there that would love to get this information as well. Remember, proximity is power. You change your proximity, you change your life. We'll see you later.